You think you're reacting to life, responding to circumstances, making choices based on what happens around you. But quietly, beneath your awareness, something else is happening first, before events unfold, before decisions are made. Your attention is already shaping what you experience, and that process has been running your life longer than you realize. The observer effect isn't just a concept from physics textbooks, it's a pattern you live inside of. Wherever your attention goes, reality reorganizes around it. Not dramatically, not instantly, but consistently. You don't notice it because it feels normal, familiar, invisible. You don't see the world as it is. You see the world as you are prepared to see it. Your mind filters information, highlights certain details, and ignores others. And that filtering happens automatically, based on what you expect, fear, or anticipate. This means your attention is never neutral. The moment you focus on something, you give it weight, meaning, priority. And whatever receives your sustained attention begins to feel bigger, closer, more real, even if nothing objectively changed. Think about how often your day is shaped by what you're watching for. Problems, delays, mistakes, signals that something is off. When your attention is trained to detect threat or lack, life feels heavy, rushed, resistant. Not because it is, but because that's what you're observing. The observer effect works quietly through repetition. You notice the same patterns. You react the same way. You reinforce the same expectations. Over time, those expectations solidify into what feels like reality. But it's not reality. It's a feedback loop. Most people believe change requires force, effort, more discipline, but they miss the deeper layer. As long as you keep observing your life from the same internal position, you recreate the same outcomes, even with new strategies. Your attention trains your nervous system. If you constantly scan for what's wrong, your body prepares for defense. Breathing tightens, focus narrows, decision-making becomes reactive. And from that state, the same types of results keep appearing. This is why two people can face identical situations and experience completely different lives. One feels stuck, the other sees possibility. The difference is not intelligence or luck, it's what they are trained to observe. The observer effect doesn't mean you control reality with thoughts, it means reality responds to consistency. What you consistently notice, what you repeatedly expect, what you emotionally track throughout the day. Every time you observe delay, you strengthen the expectation of delay. Every time you notice resistance, you reinforce resistance, not intentionally, but habitually. And habits of attention are powerful because they feel automatic. Changing your life begins with changing what you observe without reacting. This doesn't mean ignoring problems. It means noticing without feeding, seeing without labeling, allowing awareness without interpretation. When you stop immediately assigning meaning to everything you notice, something shifts. Space appears. Options expand. Your internal state becomes calmer. And from that calm, your perception widens. This is where real influence begins, not by forcing outcomes, but by choosing where attention rests. When you observe clarity, clarity grows. When you observe progress, momentum forms. When you observe calm, stability builds. Your attention tells your mind what matters, and your mind organizes behavior around what matters. Over time, behavior shapes outcomes. This is how observation becomes reality, step by step, not magically. You don't need to monitor everything. You don't need to fix everything. You need to notice where your attention goes by default, especially when nothing urgent is happening. That's your true operating system. Once you see this, life feels less chaotic, not because problems disappear, but because you stop amplifying them with unconscious observation. You regain agency, without force. The observer effect is already working in your life. The only question is whether it's running unconsciously or intentionally. Awareness is the moment the loop begins to loosen. What you repeatedly observe becomes familiar. What becomes familiar becomes normal. And what feels normal becomes your reality. Change the observation, and the pattern starts to shift. If this changed the way you see your own attention, anchor that awareness now. Like this video to reinforce conscious observation. Subscribe if you want to keep learning how perception shapes outcomes. Share it with someone who feels stuck without knowing why. And comment below, what pattern do you think you've been unconsciously observing in your life lately?